There are so many dumbass Trump voters and so little time in the day to get to all of them, but I'm going to do my best because I think that we owe it to these stupid sons of bitches to make them famous. So, why don't we talk about a pair of dunces who voted for Donald Trump and who are now beginning to realize how stupid that was? Let's begin with a guy whose business is going to suffer because he voted for a criminal. Take a look at this. Here's a post, and this guy, I don't know what the hell this guy's name is, but he writes, more of a vent, but also any guidance is welcome. Oh, so he's looking for feedback. I hope he got some. I just learned that my imports from China will be hit with 45% fees of the declared value just to get through the ports. That sounds like a you problem. The problem is that my products are not made in the US, so I have no choice but to eat this. Well, isn't that a pity? I don't want to hit my consumers with new market price and destroy my competitive edge. Also, I have loyalty to my customers and the trustworthy brand I've built. But this also wrecks my margins if I don't. This sucks. Aw, well that's really a shame. You know, it's funny that a guy whose entire business, and therefore I would assume his entire income, is derived from importing Chinese products, would vote for a guy who really over and over and over again over a course of years has, scapegoated China for virtually everything and has not only threatened to put tariffs on China, but also did it in his first term. So it's really very odd that somebody whose business is built on Chinese imports would vote for a guy who has a track record of slapping tariffs on Chinese imports. That's really strange. And, by the way, doesn't really make that person very smart at business, does it? I mean, kind of an idiot, really, when you think about it. Here's what else this guy said. I want to go back to what he said and point it out. He says, I don't want to hit my consumers with new market price and destroy my competitive edge. Also, I have loyalty to my customers and the trustworthy brand I've built. But this wrecks my margins. Now, that's quite the pickle. So, you don't want to raise prices because really you're afraid your customers are going to leave you. And I get it. They probably will. And so you don't want to raise prices, but if you don't raise prices, you're not going to make any money. So what to do? Now you're in this position because you voted for Donald Trump, where you have this business where if you don't raise your prices, you're going to go out of business. And if you do raise prices, you're going to go out of business. Boy, that really sucks. Too bad no one warned you that this would happen. Because, if I'm sure if there had been anyone, and I mean anyone, to have warned you that maybe voting for Donald Trump was a bad idea, I'm sure you wouldn't have done it. Right? Yeah, you probably would have. Anyways, let's look at this other moron. This guy, is a veteran. There we go. This guy, again, Logan Ramir, maybe is his name. I'm not sure. But he's a veteran. I just did another video, by the way, about, these MAGA veterans. They're really starting to take it on the chin. And so I did this video about some MAGA vets, but, really vets in general, although I have sympathy for the non-MAGA vets. They're getting screwed because Trump is going to be cutting 80,000 workers from the Department of Veterans Affairs. And, of course, that's not going to be too good for the vets. Anyway, here's another vet who is in the process of finding out. And he wrote this: I am a veteran of the Iraq War. After retiring from military service, I worked at the VA, ironically enough, where I put in a lot of hard work and built strong relationships with my colleagues. Good for you. However, last week I was told by personnel management that I was being fired. I was completely shocked, as I had done nothing wrong. I had supported Trump in the past, but after he took office, I began to notice that many of his policies seemed to target individuals like me, supporters who found themselves laid off. Now I'm in a difficult situation. I have 2 children to support, and I don't even know how to explain this to my wife. It feels unjust, and I'm unsure where to turn next. You stupid, stupid man. So I want to help me, because I want to get this straight. You're a vet. You served in the Iraq War. So, you weren't a child anytime in like the last decade. I would imagine you had access to news and information, maybe even the internet. I mean, you appear to be posting on the internet. Did you not hear that the guy you voted for called veterans or anyone who served, I guess that would apply to active duty, suckers and losers? Did you miss that? Maybe you did. But he said that. He has said many things over the years that makes plain that he has no respect whatsoever for members of the military. Yet, ironically, he gets overwhelming support from the military and from veterans, which makes no sense. But, this is what it looks like when you begin to suffer the consequences of your vote. So you supported Trump in the past, but after he took office, I began to notice that many of his policies... Look, he's only been in office for like 5-6 weeks, maybe. He was president for 4 years. He's been in our faces for a decade. You didn't realize any of this any time in the last 10 years? Only after you voted for him did you begin to find out? Or is it only since your ass got fired? Come on. That's what it is, isn't it? Come on. You can tell me. There's nobody else here. That's what it is. You got fired. You got kids to support. You don't know what to tell your wife. And only now, when it's affecting you, do you begin to wake up? Do you begin to question the man that you voted for and who called you a sucker and a loser? Up until then, up until you lost your job, you had no problem. Well, you know what? I have exactly no sympathy for you. None whatsoever. Because of your selfishness and stupidity, this country is being destroyed from within. And not only that, but that piece of garbage you voted for is doing so much damage to the world, which you probably are clueless about, but he is. Abandoning our allies, not just Ukraine, but other allies, telling them basically to go F themselves. He's going to be pulling us out of NATO. Now, as, a veteran of the Iraq War, I would expect you to know some things about the importance of alliances and NATO and things like that, but apparently that's not anything you ever considered. He's threatening war. I know he ran as the peace president, but he's threatening war against Canada, Denmark, Panama. He's talking about ethnically cleansing Gaza so that he can put up a resort so he and his buddies can make billions of dollars. And on and on and on. You didn't care about any of that. You didn't care about the insurrection. Here you are as a veteran who swears an oath to defend the Constitution, to defend this republic, and you vote for a guy who violated the Constitution and tried to overthrow this republic so that he could stay in office illegally. But that didn't bother you. It's only now that you lost your job and you don't know what to tell your wife, and you're ashamed, and you don't know how you're going to pay your bills, and you lost your health insurance, and cry me a fucking river. I don't care. In fact, reading your post fills me with joy. Because when people commit a grave injustice and harm other people, as you have done, whatever the hell your name is, it makes me feel good when those people pay for what they have done. You did that. You, with your vote, have caused not just yourself, but countless numbers of people to have their lives upended because they've been fired by Elon Musk, the unconstitutional co-president you voted for. Did you know that Donald Trump is going to revoke the legal status of Ukrainian refugees and send women and children back to that war-torn country, many of them to be raped and murdered? You didn't care about any of that, did you? No, you don't care about anything but yourself. And it's only now that you lost a job that you're even beginning to question any of it. So again, zero sympathy. And as you people are so fond of saying, thoughts and prayers.